Who lives here? Who lives here? What does it mean? Does it even matter? It does.
Since you're here, click that button and subscribe.
I'm Roxanne. This is Everything About Hallmark, and it's Sunday. It's time for a prediction video. And you guessed it, the topic is, where do they live? This is actually part 2. So once you finish checking out part 2, you can go back and check out part 1, which was all about Allie and Nathan. Okay, so let's start off with Faith. Where does Faith live? We don't know. We do know when Faith first comes to town that she lives above in one of the rooms above the saloon. And then later on in the next season, we know that she is must have moved from there because she says she's going to go home and try to cook. She's not much of a cook. And there weren't, like, the setup inside the rooms above the saloon were not for people to cook. So she must have moved. Where exactly? Who knows? Maybe she lives above the infirmary. If you check it out right here, you'll see that there is a room above, and there's also side steps. Like, you can go from the outside up to that room. Maybe that's where she's been living. Who knows? Maybe she didn't live there and Carson lived there at some point, but she probably lived downtown because she was always downtown. Why is it important that we even know where any character lives? Well, as one of the set directors that works with Peter DeLuise said, it's all in the details. Sometimes the lack of details is important too, but maybe we don't need to know where Faith lives because we already know so much about her. Just from her interactions with the characters in her conversations, we know that she was once engaged to Peter. We know she lived in Hamilton and Union City. Her mother was a nurse. Her mother became ill from one of her patients and died. And then when she became a nurse, that made her estranged from her father because he called her a fool. We know that she has brothers, nephews now. We know quite a bit about her. We know she's independent. She went on to become a doctor. And she's had some suitors along the way, more so than the average female character in the storyline, and none of them worked out. Okay, so getting to see her environment is not necessarily going to tell us more about her. She's pretty open book. So she's a doctor, she's in the infirmary. There's not going to be extra personal items floating around because everything has to be sanitized and it's in there because it should be in there. So what am I predicting about Faith? Well, I am predicting that Faith is going to have a bigger voice in Hope Valley. I'm predicting this because of the conversation that she had at the very end with her BFF. There's Fiona, Faith, and Clara that are becoming like a little trio as Abigail and Elizabeth and Rosemary were. So they're the next generation coming through. And I feel that she's going to have a big voice because of the conversation they had about Hope Valley and it being looks like it's upside down, but they're choosing to stay.
Here seem like they're being turned upside down. I know in my heart I'm making the right decision to stay.
When I stepped off that stagecoach from San Francisco, I was so happy. Seeing the town and good friends.
To Hope Valley.
To Hope Valley.
I've talked before about the level of danger rising in Hope Valley. And when there's a level of danger, people are going to get hurt or injured in some way. And of course, there would be, Faith taking over. Faith might even get a nurse, who knows? And I think that what is going on or what went on between her and Carson is not going to be over. I am sure that she's going to make other relationships, other decisions that are going to affect other characters as the storyline goes on. And towards the end of the season, something with Carson is going to happen, whether Carson pops back in, it's a phone call, it's something. And I think when he comes back, it's really going to let us know as viewers where everything is going. Like, is she definitely cutting all of her ties with him, or is he going to like come back and they are going to reconnect? But in some way, I think that whatever's going on with Carson is not over, but it's going to be like a pivotal moment when he returns or they reconnect towards the end of the season. Maybe she's going to sort of hint at being into a new relationship, and then we'll see Carson, and then she'll make that decision, should she really be going in that direction or not. It could be about a new surgery that maybe he performs and the two of them have to do something together. Whatever it is, that relationship and that part of her life, I don't feel like is totally finished. And I don't feel like it's going to be in the beginning of season 9. I think it's going to be at the end, if at all. Okay, now her friendship with Clara and Fiona, I love it. And her friendship specifically with Fiona is what I'm focusing on, only because we don't know anything about Fiona. For as long as Fiona has been on this show, we have never met any of her outside of Hope Valley acquaintances or family members or friends. We have for the other main characters except for her. She's still very much a mystery. She and Lucas were very much a mystery, but we've seen now met Lucas's mom. So we're still trying to figure out Fiona, and Fiona's got a big part in what's going on in season 9, especially with this whole pipeline. So what do we know about her? She was engaged. Apparently, whoever she was engaged to had some money because she said he couldn't buy her love. We know that she's from San Francisco and that she was raised with lots of brothers. We know she's extremely vogue, outspoken, and I love that about her. And she is going to be very much involved with whatever's progressing through Hope Valley. So she and Faith together are going to have a big voice in the town. Now, getting back to her and where she lives, if we could see the inside of her home, where she makes her home, we would probably see all kinds of little details. So we have not seen where Fiona lives. She's never even mentioned it. We could only imagine that it must be downtown, because first she was, doing the telephone operator whole scenario, and now she's got the barber shop, and she's always right there. There are so many places that she could live right downtown. Check out this. Look where Dottie was. Look at that little apartment that's up there. Look at that. Maybe that's where Fiona lives, or in something similar to that. But it definitely has to be local, right? Watch it, season 9 come on and she's living in the woods all this time. But anyway, okay, so let's just look at her shop and what can we grab or glean from the shop. So she has pictures around there of like the different utensils or things that are used to cut hair, the different scissors and whatnot. But she has some black and white photos that are up, and they look like San Francisco, from where she is. That's where she lives. But then there's this picture over here that I'm going to blow up. What do you think? What do you think this says? It looks like a group of men. If it's a famous picture, I have researched it and can't figure out. Are those all her brothers with her dad? I don't know. Is that where she maybe grew up and worked before? There's got to be something important about this picture. You let me know. You let me know in the comments. Maybe you know something I don't and you could share with me. I would love that. Okay. And also, this place has become her intimate place for conversations. And that's how we've gained a lot of information this past season about her. So this is a setup where they can sit and chat, they being the 3 girls. Clara, sometimes it was just Clara and Faith, because Fiona was in San Francisco. And then the 3 of them are sometimes in there. I love how that whole dynamic has been slowly forming. And even though Carson is not there now, that they were just like a unit. Look, when the girls brought their men to go have their hair cut to support Fiona. And then in the chair was Mike with Fiona. So I feel like that's going to be like a whole little group that's going to grow together, have a big voice. They're the new voice, the next generation coming up and making a difference in Hope Valley. Also, these women are very much, with the times. They like to show their ankle. They were raised in the hem of their skirts. You even saw Faith in a pair of pants. This time frame right now of the setting is like 1916, 17, 18 in Canada. What was happening was there was a whole movement to getting the women the right to vote. That might be brought in, and if it's not, the flavor, the vibe of that time is from those three women. So they will definitely have big voices, definitely are going to have big voices in Hope Valley. And I look forward to seeing what else is going to take place. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Next week, it's not Lucas's office yet. Next week, and speculation of where he lives, because people have been asking me, next week is all these other characters and what it means. Okay, thank you for tuning in. See you later.